Well, happy Monday evening to you.
What's going on, Facebook guys? Hey, it's been a wild Monday so far, and it's something that we have been looking forward to for, I guess, since the last realignment.
Yeah, about 2 years.
And some surprises, some big changes, some really, really big changes for a few of our district teams that is going to get really harder now.
Yep, and
really
a lot of chess games too, stuff where one thing happens and it trickles down and affects somebody else. We're going to start off with one of those instances, and it's one that has the entire Central Texas area talking, and it's Midway and Waco High going to Dallas.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Mansfield Summit, South Grand Prairie gone.
Yep.
Insert Waco High, Midway, and Duncanville.
Yeah, Duncanville. So in the last realignment ending this May, Duncanville was out in Region 1, which starts out in El Paso, works its way toward Dallas, and Allen was in Region 2. I'll explain why that one's important. Duncanville comes back to Region 2 alongside its two Beltway mates with Cedar Hill and over closer to I-35, DeSoto, and then Mansfield, Lake Ridge, Waxahachie in there as well with Waco High and Midway. Nick, when I look at this district right off the bat, the first thing, my attention is immediately drawn to the two Ds right here, DeSoto and Duncanville.
Yeah, no doubt about that, because DeSoto 9-3 last year, Duncanville's powerhouse. This is going to be a really, really tough road for Midway and Waco High. I mean, it's going to get brutal for them. Travel-wise, yes, it stinks a lot. It's terrible. And we'll get, like Curtis said, we'll get to why this was, where it's at for Midway and Waco High here in just a bit. But travel-wise, it's they're going to have to go to the Metroplex area each and every week. And, I have a daughter that goes to Midway, and it looks like right now it's going to be some long nights coming home back from games. And
these are things that I have to sympathize with. When I was in high school, I grew up in the San Antonio area. We wound up in a district where the closest district opponent was an hour. The rest of them were 2+. This isn't as bad as it could be. This isn't as bad as some of the small school districts way out in West Texas. But I don't think we had heard the rumors ever since Snapshot Day. I didn't think the UIL would actually do it. If you're looking for an explanation as to why, blame Belton and blame Bryan. Bryan is on an island. It's the only 6A within 80 miles of anybody. The last 2 years it's been down with Tomball Memorial, Cy Ranch, schools like that down in the Houston area. Now they're moving the burden to get to Bryan, because I don't think Bryan wanted to be in the Killeen ISD district for the reason of travel, because at least Bryan down to the Houston area is all highway. To get up here, they've got to go through a lot more small towns. They've got to go on some back roads. If I'm Bryan, I didn't want this district either.
Not at all.
And because Belton ISD is opening Lake Belton High School with freshmen and sophomores, Belton remains 6A for this alignment cycle. If you've got questions, comment them on Facebook, reply on Twitter, or text them to us. That number to text them to us at is 254-859-5481, 254-859-5481. Send us your questions on realignment. Nick, when you look at the 6A districts outside of Midway going to Dallas, what's your first thought?
Well, first thing is, it's pretty much everything stays the same. Of course, like you said, Bryan enters, and of course, Waco High, Midway, they leave. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have an even number district where you don't have a bye week. And I know that, some teams were looking at, we need to maybe change some games. We talked to several coaches this morning about trying to find games. Luckily, that they've already had good relationships, with several coaches, and some of them already had their schedules done. Like Coach Hoffman and Mart, he already posted a schedule earlier, and I think that looking at this Midway Waco High deal, it is a lot of this district right here, a lot of parity, a lot of parity. And it's going to be whoever comes out of there, the 4 teams, it's going to be really brutal.
You're going to have teams that are poised and good enough to make really deep runs in the high school football playoffs, not even make the playoffs out of District 11 6A. I don't think that I'm speaking out of turn when I say I'm pretty sure the top 2 spots in the district are spoken for with Duncanville and DeSoto.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would agree with that. The good news is those 2 are also going to go Division I. So the 2 teams that get in after that are going to go Division II. It's a matter of who it is. Lake Ridge, Mansfield, Midway, Cedar Hill, potentially Waxahachie. Really in good position to compete for those spots, but there's only 2 of them left after that.
And also Region 2 filled with a lot of Houston area teams.
In fact,
a lot of Houston area teams.
Let's go to the Region 2 oversight. This is what the big picture is going to look like for the 6A teams here in our area. Region 2 stretches from Houston out west to Coppers Cove, up north to Dallas, and over to Tyler as Tyler Lee stays in Region 2. Allen is gone. Big Bad Allen. They have moved to Region 1 alongside the Plano schools, and Longview is gone. Longview drops to 5A. Those were the 2 Big Bad Wolves in the district. Other notable teams still in Region 2 include Rockwall, Spring, Westfield, Klein Oak, Klein Collins, and Cy Ranch.
It's going to be, and of course, Longview, Temple will open up against them in that big kickoff classic.
At AT&T
First
Stadium.
Game of the year, a rematch.
Yes.
A rematch because Longview did knock off Temple in the by-district round. So good news, Allen's gone. Of course, Longview powerhouse. They're gonna dominate that 5A Division I. I would have to assume.
I'm very curious. Longview wound up in Highland Park's district. The reason that we made sure we needed to include Cy Ranch in Region 2, Nick, do you know why I made sure Cy Ranch was on this list?
You told me earlier, but I forgot.
Because the coach at Cy Ranch is former Converse Judson coach Sean McCullough. He's as good as they get in Texas high school football. Cy Ranch is going to be poised to make some noise in Region 2, especially, again, with Allen and Longview gone. Let's move down to 5A. Only one 5A team here in Central Texas. That is University High School. Their district largely unchanged. Midlothian's gone. Burleson Centennial gone. Mansfield Timberview enters. Everything else stays the exact same.
You look over here to the right-hand side.
And this is the district that it's paired with in the first round of the playoffs, and it's all Dallas ISD and then Mesquite Poteet. So Aledo, Arlington, Seguin, Burleson, Cleburne, Everman, Joshua, Mansfield, Timberview. I got to tell you, if University can take a step forward, University can get into the playoffs in this district.
Yeah, of course, Centennial is gone, and they went 10-2 last year, 7-1 in the district. And so anytime you have a team that is just so good, can move out of the district, it only helps University because they have done a great job. Probably for the last couple of years of building and building, because for that longest time they couldn't win a game. Now they are slowly seeing the fruits of their labor come to life, and this could be their year.
And we are talking about making the playoffs. That's the next step for University. The reason we're saying that, the 2-time reigning state champion Aledo, they're still there.
Yeah.
Again, the district that University would be paired with in the first round, Dallas, Adamson, Conrad, Hillcrest, Jefferson, Kimball, Seagoville, and South Oak Cliff. And Spruce, not a whole lot to it from University's perspective. Pretty much what we were expecting. Region 2 oversight. University is the main outlier geographically. In Region 2, University is the only team not in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Aledo's still there. Again, Dallas ISD district is the weak link. That's District 6. But when you look at 7 and 8 on the other side of the region, you have one district with Corsicana, Ennis, and Royce City. Another one that's got 3 Frisco ISD teams. Prosper, Rock Hill. That's the new school in Prosper ISD. Those districts make up for it. Notable teams in Region 2, Denison, Frisco, Frisco Lebanon Trail, Frisco Liberty, Frisco Memorial, and Ennis. Thoughts on Region 2 in 5A Division 2?
Well, I mean, it's a anytime you get up to the Dallas Metroplex area with these teams like Frisco, I mean, you're going to get some really, really good football. It's not going to be an easy task for University. We know that. We've seen that.
Right.
But it's going to be some good football that you're going to be able to see week in and week out. Like I said, thanks. You're going to have to, for University, they're going to have to win at least 4 district games. They went 2-6 in district last year. They're going to have to win at least 4 games.
Yeah.
So try to find 2 other wins. I don't know where, but you're going to have to try to sneak, 2 other wins in there just to make it.
And if you go back and you look at their district, let's go back to University's district. I have no idea what is happening right now. There it is. They lose a team, so you could 4 seals at 3 is a possibility. Arlington Seguin, probably a win. Joshua, probably a win.
Yep.
You've got to find one somewhere else if you're University. I think it's possible. Again, comment your questions here on the Facebook thread. Send them to us on Twitter. We're on Twitter at at 6 News CTX. Just send them in the feed.
You know, the problem with University is, you know, they beat Joshua, they beat Seguin, but the games they lost to, they were all blown out.
Yeah.
They were blown out by 20-plus points. So,
and that's Aledo, that's Burleson, that's Cleburne, that's Everman. It was Centennial last year.
I think the closest game that they lost to was Cleburne, 41-29. So, but I mean, I don't know where, you know, Aledo, of course, they're just so good. You know, maybe they can get Cleburne. Maybe
if you can get the Elks on a good night, if you can get Cleburne, of those games, I would say Cleburne might be their best chance. But if you're coming out of this district, you've got to feel good about your first round opportunities, as long as you don't wind up with either. Well, that was weird. As long as you don't wind up with either Sauk or Mesquite Poteet in the first round, I think you've got to feel pretty good about where you're at that point. So, again, 5A Division II, Region 2 big picture, a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of really quality teams that you could consider some front runners. Let's drop to 4A Division I, because this is where things began to get interesting. La Vega's on an island now. They're the only 4A Division I school within 60 miles. The closest one to them, if you read our article last night, was Alvarado at 57 miles. So what was the UIL to do? Well, there was the possibility of La Vega going with Fort Worth ISD schools and then like Alvarado, maybe a Midlothian Heritage. Well, they kind of combined it because Benbrook, Kennedale, also kind of close-ish. So now you have a district filled with outliers. You have Alvarado, Brownwood, Midlothian Heritage, Stephenville, La Vega, Waxahachie Life, very similar to the 3A Division II district we're going to break down here in a little bit, where it's just a bunch of teams that dot a map. There's no real geographic center to it. La Vega's got to be the favorite out of that one, still.
They do. You know, this district goes from 5 to 6, which is good. So China Spring, Gatesville out, Midlothian Heritage in, Waxahachie Life in. But yeah, overall looking at it, La Vega should be the overall winners. They went 4-0 last year. Brownwood was 3-1.
And don't forget that in a 2-year series, La Vega did sweep Midlothian Heritage. Heritage is an up-and-coming program, very, very good. I'm sure Heritage is super happy to get away from Carthage. We'll get to Carthage in just a minute. But if you're anybody in District 5, 4A Division I, and you're looking over here, your eyes on District 6 are immediately drawn right here. That is Kennedale. That is a team that was playing for a state championship not that long ago. Kennedale. Benbrook had one of the nation's top runners just a couple years ago with Fort Worth ISD. If you finish as the 1 or the 2 out of District 5,
you're going to grab one of them.
You're going to grab a Fort Worth ISD school.
Athletes. Athletes. You're going to get some big time, but again, they should be able to get past the first round.
Exactly.
They should. They're going to draw a 4th seed, and we wouldn't know who that is. But again, La Vega's been so powerful year after year. They have the talent to go 4, 5, 6 rounds, you know, all the state championship every single year. Of course, Stephenville last year had a really down year. They went 6-5.
Right.
Not your typical Stephenville powerhouse that we usually see every single year. Brownwood, they went 11-2, had a really, really solid year.
Alvarado's coming back up. Brownwood's really solid. Heritage is an up-and-coming program. You've got, if you're La Vega, this went about as well as you could hope for with the district you wound up in, especially with as isolated as La Vega is in the state in 4A Division I. So let's take a look at the big picture. 4A Division I, Region 2, District of Outliers, like we said for La Vega. Old foes still loom. Argyle, Melissa, Paris, all still in the region. Those are past playoff foes for La Vega. Against Stephenville, they're very familiar with. Argyle, they played 4 times in 2 years.
This would be really, really nice.
Potential 3rd round La Vega-Kennedale showdown. Sign me up for that. And then notable teams, again, Kennedale, Argyle, Melissa, Paris.
You look at Argyle, of course, historically really, really good. Melissa, all these teams are very solid. Again, we don't know, what they're bringing back, but historically, I mean, it's a really, really good bunch. And again, you point that if all signs, if everything plays out like they should here coming up in the fall, It'll be a really good showdown. Plus, La Vega's district, that's going to get them ready for playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's a solid district. So
when you look at Region 2, Nick, I don't know if you agree with me. I think winner of Region 2 can book a seat, can start buying tickets, booking hotel rooms for Arlington at AT&T
totally
Stadium.
Agree.
Because Region 1, nothing's changed.
Very brutal.
You go
and
through.
you make it out of there, it's.
If you look at Region 1, nothing's really changed. You've still got Burke Burnett, you've still got Decatur, Lake Worth, Springtown, both in Gainesville. Lake Worth makes the move over to Region 1. You know, Andrews, Big Spring, Fort Stockton, San Angelo, Lakeview. The El Paso district with Riverside, Clint, Mountain View, Fabens, and San Elizario. Yeah, Region 1, I don't think much has changed, even with the addition of Lake Worth and former Coppers Cove coordinator Terry Welch and the Bullfrogs. So if you win Region 2, which again, these 4 still loom. That's Kennedale, Argyle, Melissa, Paris. If you can win Region 2, you might just be able to start booking for Arlington. This is where the snowball begins to roll. 4A, Division 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mexia Black Cats are now in East Texas.
Had a really, really solid year. 7-4. They went 5-1 in a really tough district. Of course, won by Connolly, who had an incredible season. Now they're matched up with Brownsboro, Bullard, Canton, and Van.
All East Texas district.
5 teams. 4 is going to go to the playoffs. What's going to give here?
Yeah, you just need one district win. So a couple more times. So if you have any questions on realignment, on why the UIL did any of this, what some of this means, big picture, comment your questions in the comments both on Twitter and on Facebook.
Or you
That's KCEN TV on Facebook.
Yeah, or 254-859-5481. Text us.
Text us, and we will answer them to the best of our abilities. Again, that number 254-859-5481. Now, the reason Mexia got moved, right, wrong, or indifferent, the UIL has always had that I-45 and US 84 interchange area as the boundary between Central Texas and East Texas. Keep in mind, not that long ago, West, Teague, Groesbeck were in a district with Malakoff. That's way up on Cedar Creek Lake. That's the gateway to East Texas out near Athens. I'm not entirely surprised. I didn't think, this is kind of like the Mexia thing, or not the Midway thing going to Dallas. I didn't think that it would happen, but it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that Mexia goes to East Texas. They had to do it. The UIL had to move somebody into Region 2 to make sure it was fairly level with Region 3, reason being 1-6-6-5-5. Not a lot of big districts because there was so much movement out in East Texas.
And Van, they leapfrog from their district that had Carthage, Palestine, Henderson, Kilgore, and Chapel Hill, and they get lumped in there as well.
Yeah, Van dropping because there was a lot of seismic shifting in 4A and 3A. Reason being, especially down in South Texas, schools like Uvalde, Corpus Christi, Cal Allen dropped from 5A down to 4A, which causes all kinds of
chaos.
Movement in 4A. So when you look at all of this, UIL didn't have a lot of choices on this. So let's jump to District 8. Reason being, that's the district that Mexia is paired with in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, Gilmer, you know about them. You don't have to say too much about Gilmer.
You don't have to say too much about Gilmer, and you don't have to say too much about the reigning state champion Pleasant Grove. Liberty Ilo has been building a name for itself. So has Pittsburgh. Let's let that take us into the Region 2 big picture. Mexia paired with the District of Doom in the region. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. I think we can all agree with it. That Pleasant Grove district is out of this world. Enjoy the drive. This district takes up a lot of real estate. Let me start with District 5. You ready? Ferris, Glen Rose, Godley, Hillsboro, Venus. It stretches from the Stephenville area
all the way
to Texarkana and then down the eastern state line. Yeah.
Hillsborough, right down the road.
Athletes everywhere you look. You go out to Glen Rose, an offense that is famous in this state. Pittsburgh, Liberty, ILO, a lot of athletes out in East Texas. Pleasant Grove had one of the best athletes in the state, and they ran the wing tee.
How many times did we talk about Pleasant Grove on Friday Night Lights? Each and every week, especially in the playoffs of our local teams on a collision course against Pleasant Grove.
And Salado ran into Pleasant Grove in the second round. Notable teams in Region 2 other than the ones that are in Mejia's district: Pleasant Grove, Glen Rose, Gilmer, Pittsburgh,
Buckeyes.
Liberty, ILO. The list goes on and on. If you want a complete list of those schools, just go to District 8 4A Division 2. Let's go to Region 3 and Mejia's old district: China Spring, Gatesville, Gerald, Robinson, Salado, and Connolly. Well, that's about as diverse as it gets.
So
Mejia
out, Madisonville out.
Yep.
Lorena out.
Spread, pro style, slot tee, spread, and they run a little bit different every. They run something a little bit different every week. They're kind of matchup oriented. Gerald is. That's District 9 4A Division 2. I look at that, and I don't know who. You need 2 wins to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who's out?
I would say
I will say the Gerald coaches were not thrilled about being in this district.
Tommy Allison tells me all the time, every year, he says that his team is rebuilding. They don't know if they're going to win a game. Of course, we know that's always false because they're always in the playoffs. Salado, brings back a lot of people. Connolly, they've lost a lot of people, but they do bring back a lot of people because they have some very, very young talent.
China Springs got its quarterback back.
Yeah.
Gatesville brings almost everybody back. Every single skill position starter for the Hornets in 2019 was a sophomore. That means they are back this year.
Robinson, they were 500 in the season, but 1-5 in district play. They couldn't get anything. They couldn't get it going, and they just struggled. I know they were kind of young, mixed in with some older veterans, but look for them to take the next step. But it's who's going to be left out. 2 of them has to be left out.
And immediately they hit the road in the first round because that China Spring Gatesville district is paired with District 10. That's the reigning 4A Division 1 state champ Carthage, Center, Jasper, Madisonville, Rusk, and Shepherd. Basically I-45 east, south of Tyler. This is that's a
And I've covered the Jasper Bulldogs. They knocked off West Star and Star, the reigning state champions, this past season. They've always been really good historically. They just win. They win over there down in Southeast Texas. Of course, Madisonville, they didn't have the best of seasons. They went 2-8, 0-6 in district play with Connolly, with Mejia, with Salado, Fairfield, and pretty much they used to be in that district right there. But those 2 right here, Carthage and Jasper, is going to be, those are 2 guys that you don't want to run into.
Exactly, and that's a first-round district pairing, by the way. So this is Region 3. What that means, remember when we said Region 3? Let's go back and look a little bit at Region 2. What did we tell you? Who did we tell you was in there? Pleasant Grove. That's the reigning 4A Division 2 state champion. Let's go back to Region 3, Carthage, the reigning Division 1 state champion in 4A. There is a non-zero chance that the 2 reigning 4A Division 1 state champions could face off in a state championship game, and all the 4A Division 2 schools here in Central Texas have to go through them to make a run. Let's go Region 3. Trade one champ for the other. You trade Pleasant Grove, who, Salado, Robinson, all these schools were in Region 2 last year with Pleasant Grove. They trade that for Carthage, Holy, Southeast Texas.
Yeah, this is my neck of the woods now.
Get to know the Beaumont area, folks, because let's run through a few teams.
You not only got Jasper, West Orange Stark. They went back-to-back state champions. They went 10-2 this year. They won district again. Silsbee Tigers. Kalen Barnes from here at Baylor, plays at Baylor, won the track star. He's from Silsbee, which went 9-4 this year, 3-1 in district play, the same district as West Orange Stark. These 2 powerhouses. Sealy, we know about them. Sealy's always good. Home of old Eric Dickerson. Historically, they are a playoff team, a really good team throughout the years.
A few others in Region 3, Hampshire Fernet, Hardin Jefferson, Liberty, Rusk. This is a Southeast Texas heavy district. Establish the run. We talk about all these teams. In fact, let's go back a slide and take a look. Teams that rely heavily on the run are Madisonville, Carthage, Jasper, Salado, Connolly. I mean, the list goes on. And then you come over here. Let's come back a slide real quick. And then you come over here. Carthage relies on the run a lot. Jasper, West Orange Stark runs the slot T. That's why their game against Salado a couple years ago took all of an hour. Yeah, established the run. This is going to be.
They put up a lot of points, over 415. I think they put up 414. I think Silsbee put up 465 this year. That's a lot of points, guys, and they will run you to death.
Yep.
They will wear defenses down. But
they play hard-nosed, physical, smash-mouth, sledgehammer football. This is going to be a lot of fun in 4A Division II. Again, if you have any questions, comment them on Facebook.com/KCEN News, Twitter.com/6newsctx. We're live there as well. Text them to us, 254-859-5481. That's 254-859-5481. We're also live on YouTube as well. So let us know where you're watching from. Let's head down to 3A, Nick. 3A Division I, and the UIL took a giant stick of dynamite to 3A Division I. 3 teams in our area that have always been in the same district now split into 2. West is going up to Dallas. It's Dallas A+, Dallas Life Oak Cliff, Dallas Madison, Grandview, Maypearl West, and Whitney. If I'm David Woodard right now, I'm throwing a party.
Yeah, I mean,
even though I'm paired with the 2-time reigning state champ.
That's okay, but
I'm throwing a party.
You know, of course, Whitney, they had a really good season, but I think they can compete. No doubt they can compete.
I'm sorry. In my honest opinion, Grandview, West, and Whitney can make the playoffs without even trying in this district.
That's true. That's true. So David Woodard needs to be very happy. You know, look, whoever comes, you know, they're going to have to face their old nemesis over here. But they should be able to compete and compete very well.
Exactly.
In that district. There's no doubt about that. They will compete very well.
So, who are they paired with? Well, when we saw Donnie Osborne today, he was thrilled. He was thrilled with his district. This district, 8-3A Division I, sets up beautifully for Teague and Fairfield, who are in with Eustis, Groesbeck, Kemp, and Malakoff. There's that state powerhouse that made the state championship game just a couple years ago. Let me go back. What is happening here?
So you look at here, Kemp, bad season. They went 3-8. Eustis went 2-8.
Groesbeck struggled. Groesbeck was really young.
But they will have that experience factor is going to hopefully put them over the top. Teague, and of course you got Fairfield and Malakoff there.
My weird take of the day is Maypearl might make the playoffs.
And here recently they haven't. But I think a couple of years ago they didn't have a really good season. But I forgot what they did this year.
This year they won 1 district game. It was against Groesbeck. But the thing is, A+ Life, Dallas Life Oak Cliff. These are charter type schools. They don't draw quite as widely as the public schools do. Grandview reigning state champion twice. Oh, by the way, their best player, Dane Yench, he's back. He's a senior this coming year.
Life Oak Cliff went 8-3 this year, 3-2 in district. Madison went 9-3, 4-1 in district. A+ Academy 1-9.
A+ Academy was the, according to the Dave Campbell's Texas football computer rankings, A+ was the bottom-ranked 3A Division I team in the state of Texas. Keep in mind, that district was a little different the last couple of years. This is a lot different look that the Dallas schools in here are going to get. I think it sets up beautifully. Let's go big picture. Region 2, 3A Division I can't escape the Zebras.
No.
One of the things everybody was talking about is where's Grandview, a regional floater, going to wind up? A lot of schools were trying to escape the Zebras a little bit, try and set themselves up for a deeper run a little bit. And the Zebras get moved into Region 2 with the teams who were already in there with them. East Texas meets Texoma, meets Central Texas. The Sherman-Denison area out to the state line, down to the Waco area. That's where all of this... That's where this region is encompassing, so a few miles will be put on. Another powerhouse enters. Mineola is in here. Mineola played for a state championship in the decade.
Yeah, a couple. And this past year they were 500, 5-5. But again, you know, you can't roll them out because they they don't rebuild, they just reload. And this year might have been a kind of a rebuilding mode, but they will reload for another deep run.
Notable teams: Mount Vernon, I don't need to tell you why, Atlanta, Gladewater, and Pottsboro, the reigning state runner-up up near Sherman-Denison. My eyes, when I look at that list, Nick, are drawn to the Bears in Gladewater.
10-4 last year. They should have a lot of people back, and they should make another run because it's going to be again, we'd always talk about historically, they're very good. I mean, some of these teams, it's crazy how, like the La Vegas and the Marts, and, they just keep, all these players are really good. They know their role, and every single year they're very consistent.
Yeah.
They never have a drop-off.
No.
They don't have a drop-off.
No, and
if it does, it's not significant enough to where you're like, man, wait a minute, this coach might get fired. No, their drop-off is maybe, 7 wins, 8 wins?
If I'm Pottsboro, I know I had a veteran squad that we got to the state championship game for the first time, but I'm okay with this alignment, and it seems like Pottsboro's building something. Again, to take a look at what this looks like. That's West by itself over here on the left in District 7. Whitney's in there with them, Grandview, a few schools that are fairly close, and then 3 that are about an hour 15 drive from West. And then you take a look at the district they're paired with. Groesbeck T, that's a little bit more of an East Texas feel, kind of an I-45 look to it. That's Region 2. So where are the rest of the 3A Division I schools in our area? Well, they're all together. Caldwell drops from 4A Division 2, and they join Cameron Yo, Academy, Lorena, McGregor, Rockdale, Troy. Gerald jumps to 4A Division 2. Maynard, New Tech jumps to 4A Division 2. Lago Vista gets sent back south in with Blanco, Comfort, Llano, and Luling. Llano is going to have to go to Luling. That boggles my mind.
Well, first thing you notice is Rockdale, really good. Troy, really good. Lorena dropping down, that they're going to be really good. Yo, really good. I mean, this district is stacked pretty good.
Now, Yo loses a few pieces from this past year's team. They were pretty senior heavy on this team that made a run to the 3rd round to Grandview. Caldwell's in a little bit of a rebuilding stage. So you look, now Yo's still going to be good enough to make the playoffs. Academy's going to need to put some key pieces in, and keep in mind the Bees don't have a head coach right now.
No, they're looking for one right now.
Lorena, very potent spread offense. This is about as good of a district as you can get, especially in that region, and we're going to outline that a little bit further in a minute. The district that it's paired with, a little more of the southeast Texas area, down toward Houston, that I-10 corridor over toward Houston, not quite to Beaumont, Bowling, Columbus, Hallettsville, Hempstead, Hitchcock, and Yoakum gets pulled from Region 4 into Region 3. So the reason we are talking about this, what does the playoff picture look like? Hello, Southeast Texas. Yeah. You look at the other 2 districts in here, and they're both in the Beaumont area. Woodville, Winnie East Chambers, Kirbyville, Anahuac, Buna in District 10, Cold Spring, Crockett, Diboll, Elkhart, Palestine, Westwood. So a diverse East Texas, Southeast Texas flavor to this
East
region.
Chambers, they have been really good over the years. Kirbyville, Jack Alvarez used to coach Kirbyville many years ago. They took a run at a state quarterfinals, state semifinals years ago, so they're always really good. Buna's, I know, been in the playoffs. Tarkenton, I don't think they've been that good here lately. I think Woodville made the playoffs, but it's a really good. Now, of course, the Anahuac Panthers. I want to say they made the playoffs here the last couple of years. It's going to be it's a really good region.
Really good region.
But it's a region where our teams should not have any trouble and should be able to take care of.
And that's one of the things, one of the coaches that was at realignment today up at Region 12 in Waco from this district told us is, we've got a good region, but, you look at the other teams in it, we haven't lost to them before, so we should be set up fairly well. Brace yourself in the playoffs, District 9 versus District 11. It's pretty easy for your eyes to concentrate on those 2. That's where a lot of the heavy hitters are. District 9 is Cold Spring, Crockett, Diboll, Elkhart, Huntington, Palestine, Westwood, and Trinity. District 11 is the one here in our area. That's Cameron Yo, Caldwell, Academy, Lorena, McGregor, which comes back to the south, Rockdale, and Troy. Favorable region. The reason I say that, when you look at a UIL bracket, Region 1 is in the top left, Region 2 in the bottom left, and then it's Region 3, Region 4. Region 4 is really watered down now. The only team that stands out to me is Goliad. I don't see Region 4 able to compete with Region 3. So to me, if you win Region 3, you can book a hotel room in Arlington.
I think they would have. Diebold, the Lumberjacks, had a really good season. Their defense was amazing. Offense was amazing. They went 11-1. I think they got beat. They lost. They got upset.
Second round to Cameron Yo.
Yeah, so they got beat right there. But coming out of that district, I would have to say Diebold would have to be the favorites going into this season.
So, notable teams in Region 3. I didn't update that. That is my fault. Diebold's one, Crockett's another one. Yoakum. Yoakum was playing for a state championship 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Columbus made a heck of a run this past year out of Region 4. So you can start understanding a little bit, with Columbus bowling Yoakum coming into Region 3, why we're calling this the favorable region on that half of the bracket. 3A Division 2 is interesting. Imagine this monitor here is this district. Riesel is in the middle and everybody else dots the perimeter. That's basically what we've got here. We've got Buffalo, Clifton, Florence, Franklin, Lexington, Riesel, and Rogers. By the way, Clifton to Lexington is about 2.5 hours, 2:20, 2:30.
Long drives. Just pretty much what we're seeing from like Midway and what they're dealing with Midway and Waco High. It's
this is worse.
It is worse.
This is a lot
worse.
Lexington
way like over here, Buffalo way over here.
Buffalo on I-45, Lexington south of Rockdale on 77. Let's just go over here. I don't know how to explain this. From a football perspective, this is a fascinating district, and Florence is just going to be overmatched because you've got a lot of really good football teams. You've got Brandon Houston at Buffalo, who's a really good offensive mind. Clifton, Franklin, the slot T. Lexington's a really good run team.
A really good Rogers team that had one heck of a season
exactly.
this year.
Now, Rogers loses a little bit, but they return quite a bit from this past year as well. They had 19 starters back from the 2018 team.
Lexington had,
Riesel's on the up.
They had a tough non-district, schedule, but they turned it on in district play. I think he ended up winning. Did they win? Or it was like they had Lexington, Rogers, Clifton, all 3 had won. When it was all said and done, of course, Hamilton they struggled. But now you look over to 14-3A.
This is Altair, Rice, Danbury, East Bernard. That's a state semifinalist from a year ago. East Bernard is. In fact, that state semifinal was played at Waco ISD Stadium. Tidehaven, Van Vleck, and Wallace Brazos. If you're going Tidehaven, that's down along the coast. Well, let's go to the region big picture because this team, this is now in Region 4. Yes, Region 4. Hello, South Texas. This district stretches in the north from Clifton over to Buffalo and down all the way to Brownsville.
Which is a long drive from here.
Yes, that is, Monte Alto is just north of Brownsville. That is District 16, 3A Division 2. Vast array of styles. You've got spread meets slot T, meets wing T, meets balanced kind of pro-style attacks. This is a lot of fun.
The first name on the list, the Pirates from Poth.
Yep.
They had 11-2 on the season. They're going to be there again this year. And so for our teams, it's...
Poth won the state 7-on-7 tournament in 2019. You don't do that by accident.
No.
Poth's got athletes. Tidehaven's got athletes. George West has athletes. Odom has athletes. In fact, of those 4 teams, Poth is in the San Antonio area, about 30 minutes south. In fact, Poth is about 8 miles from where I went to high school in Floresville. The coach there, Jeff Luna, was my brother's coach at Floresville.
A little tie there.
A little bit of a tie. Tidehaven, George West, Odom, that's all the Corpus Christi, Port Aransas area. The baseball coach at Odom was my high school shot put coach. So
nice.
And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to tie myself. You guys know I'm from San Antonio at this point. That's how vast the geography is in Region 4 now in 3A Division 2. Keep in mind, Rogers was in Region 4 a couple alignments ago when they were in with Comfort and Blanco and the Hill Country schools out there. East Bernard looms. East Bernard, the reigning state semifinalist, the reigning Region 4 champion.
Very dangerous team. Very, very dangerous team.
This is a fascinating region. If I'm Clifton, I'm livid.
Yeah.
Let's go back to their district. If I'm Clifton, I'm livid. If I'm Clifton,
yeah.
I'm mad. You're telling me I have to drive to Buffalo on a Thursday night with my sub-varsity guys? You're telling me I have to drive to Lexington on a Thursday night with my sub-varsity, my junior high guys? That's how kids get burnt out on football. That's how accidents happen with bus drivers and coaches, when you're burning the candle at both ends because you've got to go to Lexington, spend 5 hours on a bus for 2 hours of football.
You're studying your studies. You're getting home super late.
Yep.
Trying to study as late as you can. And for my kids, they go to bed before 9 o'clock. So you're getting home not even way after 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock at night.
And I know Lexington and Clifton were not thrilled about being in the same district this past time because of how far they are from one another. That's a 2-hour, 20-minute drive from Clifton to Lexington.
And how many coaches did you talk to today that voiced their opinion very loudly about the travel and just how it
Travel's a big concern in alignment.
Their kids out because it also wears the coaches out as well.
It does. If you've got comments, questions, anything that you want to voice on realignment, leave it in the comments. We're on Twitter at twitter.com/6newsctx, facebook.com/KCEN News. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comments, or you can text us. The number to text is 254-859-5481. Man, that's brutal. And like I said, I'd be mad if I was Lexington or Clifton. Let's go to 2A Division 1. San Saba moves to Region 1. San Saba takes arch rival Goldthwaite with them. DeLeon is gone. Cisco, Coleman, Winters are there. So and that's District 4. District 4 paired with District 3 in the first round. That's Anson, Colorado City, Forson, Haskell, Hawley, and Stamford. Lots of powerhouses just on the screen right now.
Of course, San Saba had another incredible year. Their quarterback, I think it was
he was a Tulsa commit, I believe.
Yeah, D1 commit. I'm not sure how much they have back, but they should be able to make some noise.
That defense is good enough to do some damage.
Goldthwaite was the middle of the pack there.
Goldthwaite's on the up, though.
Yeah,
Goldthwaite was really young.
DeLeon's always been good. But yeah, this is a very interesting district to where, again, you just have to win 2 games and you're pretty much in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm going through Twitter right now. We have Wayne Carpenter. Ridiculous for Midway and Waco High to be forced to travel to Dallas area every week. I'm not sure. I mean, I knew people were going to be mad about that. I look at it. I'm still,
I'm just doing research on Cisco. They went 11-2. They went undefeated in district. They won their district championship. Put up 551 points. On the season.
Cisco's got an explosive offense, man.
With Cisco and San Saba, 2 very loaded offenses. And then of course, like I said, it's going to be tough to try to win that district. But it's going to be a really good season because you do want a lot of parity, and 2 powerhouses going at it is. I smell.
And the thing is, San Saba, Goldthwaite, DeLeon, Winters, they're all kind of in a no man's land. They can go to the San Angelo area, they can go to the Abilene area, they can come to the Waco area. This time they went out west toward Abilene. Anson, and again, you look at District 3, Colorado City, Anson, Forson, Stamford was playing in a state semifinal not that long ago. Hawley is very, very good. Big picture, Region 1, holy powerhouse, and we're going to get to more of them in a minute. This one stretches from San Saba and Goldthwaite in the east. Yes, 2 in the east, all the way to the New Mexico state line. There are athletes everywhere you look in Region 1 in 2A Division 1. And the reason being, you've got teams like Olton and Panhandle in with Floyd Data, Tahoka, and a few more.
Well, these teams right here, New Deal, Post, Sundown, went 1, 2, and 3 in their district, 15 wins. They had double digit, but New Deal had They went 10-2. Post went 15-1. Sundown went 8-5, but went 3-2 in district. So you got 3 playoff teams right there.
And by the way, in the past 2 years in 2A Division 1, Post is your most recent state runner-up. New Deal was your state runner-up a year ago. in 2A Division 1. Post lost to Refugio, New Deal to Mason. Sundown, very good. Stinnett, West Texas, if you like offense, West Texas has it. And then Stanford, very good.
Just a little bit, because they put up 678 points this season in 16 games. Which
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That is just mowing people down.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Questions, comments, concerns?
Also, text us 254-859-5481, 254-859-5481 as we go through just finishing up Class 2A Division 1, and we'll be going through Division 2, which is also another interesting...
Oh, before we get to Division 2, how about we go to Region 2?
Yeah.
This is where my eyes come to in this region, and
we'll
get more on that in a little bit. And we're going to touch on Itasca and Italy as soon as we finish outlining these districts for you. Bosqueville, Crawford, Hamilton, Itasca, Rio Vista, Toller, Valley Mills in District 7. Hamilton drops from 3A Division 2. Crawford loses San Saba, loses De Leon, loses Goldthwaite, and picks up more Waco area schools. Then in District 8, Axtell, Cayuga, Dawson, Italy, Cairns, and Marlin. Nick, what in the actual crap was the UIL doing when it split Italy and Itasca?
That's what we asked several coaches. They were just like, what are they doing? Why would you split those two teams at all?
The entire room was stunned that this happened.
Why split those two teams? That's like splitting, Temple Belton or something.
For those of you who don't know, Italy and Itasca are just north of Hillsboro on 35. Italy's on 35E. Itasca's on 35W.
They go everywhere.
They're right next to each other, so close. They go with each other. They've gone for generations with each other. The entire room at Region 12 stunned that this happened. I didn't think I'd see the day, to be quite honest with you. That said, you come over here, Itasca, livid because of the travel. Italy gets to stay in the Corsicana and Waco area. Itasca's got to go to freaking Hamilton and the Stephenville area where Toller and Rio Vista live.
Here's what I do like, though. I do like Bosqueville and Crawford renewing that little rivalry.
Yes.
They had some really good ones over the years.
They do. I also like the Bosqueville Valley Mills matchup.
Yeah.
I think that's super intriguing as well. So let's take a look at Region 2 as a whole. All eyes on District 7. So that said, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and take a look at District 7. The reason why the District 7 sticks out, excuse me, there is no front runner in Region 2. This is one of the strangest setups I've seen in a region. All eyes come here. Bosqueville, Crawford, known commodities in 2A Division 1. Valley Mills, an up-and-coming commodity in 2A Division 1. And Toller is on the up. I even had an assistant coach at Toller text me today and say, you know what? That district, you could see rematches of District 7 in the third and fourth round of the playoffs. Balance of power, again, no real front runners. You look at some of the other districts, not very deep. Collinsville in District 5, maybe Tioga. District 6, Celeste, then Rivercrest, then Honey Grove. There's no clear front runner in Region 2.
Not really. They just, Celeste had a down year, but, you're absolutely right. There is no really team that just kind of jumps off the page and said, well, you know what, this is a team that might just go ahead and just take over that region and then just go ahead and win it outright and book your tickets to AT&T Stadium. It's just not going to happen.
And no one district is that much better than the others in the region. Again, I think District 7 is the best in the region, but who knows? This is Region 2, 2A Division 1 with San Saba gone is wide open. So we go to Region 3. Bruce Villetti gets sent south with Hearn. Holland. Moody gets sent south as well. Rosebud Lott was already there. Thorndale. And Thrall Milano drops from that district. So basically, Bruce Villetti takes the spot vacated by either Marlin, which went with Axtell. Let's go back real quick before I lose my point. I really want to point out this.
There we go.
Okay, Italy is probably going to win that district. Italy's coach came from Tenaha, where he was playing for state championships. Okay, Dawson, pretty decent in that district. Who of those other 4 can you eliminate right now? None of them.
Ooh, no, not at all.
This sets up beautifully for competitive balance, stuff like that. I texted David Haynes today. He loves this district, thinks it's extremely balanced, thinks it's a very competitive district, and that it's wide. It's about as wide open as you can get.
And that's what you, and for Marlin or Axe, that's what you want. You want a district that's wide open and not so top heavy.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh well, we know maybe the first 2 teams they're going to go 1-2, and then now we just got to somehow fight for our lives and try to make a 3rd or 4th spot. You want it to be so wide open where, hey, we have a shot at a district championship each and every year now.
Yep. And the reason we say that, Marlin's old district was here with Holland, the state quarterfinalist. It was here with Thorndale, who gave eventual state champion Refugio everything it could handle. Bruce Villetti drops into that district. Fascinating, fascinating district, but the slot T still lives in Thorndale. Go to District 11, Alto, Centerville, Grapeland makes the jump, Groveton, Jewett, Leon, Norman G, Leon and Eddy. Bruceville Eddy and Jewett Leon were in the same district back when they were both in 3A Division II. This is a fascinating matchup. Grapeland, a 2A Division II powerhouse for years. This is interesting.
Well, Alto, they went 12-1 last season. They're a powerhouse. So whoever comes out of there maybe as a 4th seed, if it kind of goes to where it should this season. It's going to be a tough matchup, but Bruce Villetti.
Centerville's not chopped liver either.
No, not at all. And everything's always up for grabs. I mean, there's a lot of, we always talk about favorites, but until they get on we've seen crazy things happen. And like you called the Holland-Mark game this year.
I did.
And he was on the Holland train and said, hey, look, man, Holland's got the athletes to beat Mark. They did. So anything can happen. Right now, we just pure speculation and good fun.
But this would be the first round pairing, so
it would be.
You take a look at Region 3 as a whole, East Texas heavy. This district really the only one that's not considered East Texas because Centerville's out on I-45, those teams. Several jumps, West Hardin.
From West Hardin, that's my neck of the woods also.
West Hardin and Grapeland jump from Division 2 to Division 1. Powers aplenty. Region 3, some of the powerhouses, Price Carlisle, who's in the teams to watch. Joaquin, San Augustine, state semifinalist last year. West Hardin, who's been very good in Division 2. Timpson's been pretty good lately. Garrison, Powers aplenty, and that takes care of our notable teams too. But it still sets up well for schools like Holland, who have been building a program. Schools like Thorndale, who have a program, plug-and-play guys in that slot T. This is a fascinating region, and it balances a little bit better with Region 4, but I think Region 4 is still the favorite on the right side of the bracket, strictly because that is, after all, where Shiner, Refugio, and Mason still live.
Mason's out there in District 14, Region 4, so you can't sleep on them. And but again, you mentioned Holland. They rebuild. They have been doing an excellent job this season, last season, and we talked to Coach earlier today, and he is excited.
Yep.
He's he knows that he's always getting a lot of experience, a lot of Gruder experience, especially this season, going deep. And when you go into the playoffs, that's extra practices, that's extra game stuff that you can't replicate. During the season.
You can't replicate those extra 20 practices they got from the 4 playoff games Holland played. If you look at this, I do think Holland can compete for district championships, even still in the rebuilding stage that it's in. But there is more to be had. Holy 2A. District 10, 2A Division 2, Bremont, Chilton, Frost, Mart, Wortham, and Hubbard, paired with District 9. Meh.
So we talked to Kevin Hoffman earlier today, and he said, man, we've had history with Bremont and Chilton. We have talked about, they've seen each other, of course, over time. So he's really excited to see these two schools back to where they're playing together on a yearly basis. But of course, Mart's got to be the favorite. Bremont right up there. And then, of course, you fill in with Hubbard, Wortham, Frost. But, of course, obviously, I would think Martin and Bremont.
Worth noting, Hubbard has the numbers to be 6-man. They're 1A in everything that's not football.
That's interesting.
Take that for what it is. Again, questions, comments, anything that you would like us to try to answer or explain or discuss with you guys, text us 254-859-5481, Facebook.com/KCEN News. Leave it in the comments. Twitter.com/6NewsCTX. Leave it in the comments. This is a heavy-hitting district. Bremond and Mart, the two of them combined, have won state championships for 6 straight years. Bremond went on a tear 2014 to 2016 in 2A Division II. Mart won 2017 in 2A Division I and 2018 and 2019 in 2A Division II. This is a stacked district.
Winning double-digit.
District 9's not that interesting.
No.
It's not. Clarksville, Cumbie, Detroit, Maud, Quinlan, Bowles, and Sims Bowie. Region 3, hello, old friend. Mart's run to the state championship game is going to look exactly the same way it does in 2020 as it did in 2019 because not much has changed. Also, Bremond is back in there, and like you heard from Nick and from Coach Hoffman, they're very familiar with each other.
They're very familiar, and they're excited. They're glad to see them back.
Yep. All eyes on District 10. Chilton, a storied program. Mart, Bremond, all in one district. That is fascinating stuff. 6 straight years of state titles. Notable other teams in there, though. Mount Enterprise, Tenaha, Evadale, Maud, High Island is a 6-man eligible team, but was on such an island it had to make 6-hour drives for district games that High Island chose to go to 11-man football, cut the district travel in half because it's down near Galveston in a no-man's land for 2A.
Yeah, it's in Chambers County. It has, East Chambers, but of course they're just not. They just don't have enough.
Right.
They just don't have enough kids out there.
That's why they're in here. They're just a fascinating storyline, but that is a part of the state that produces tremendous athletes. Don't be surprised if High Island becomes a problem during the playoffs, but not a lot changes for Mart, except the district actually gets tougher for the Panthers. They're still going to be the favorite, though. In Region 4, District 13, Bartlett is in with Somerville, Snook, Milano, Iola, Granger, and Burton. And when we were talking to Brian Cosma today, he asked my thoughts. I said, Coach, I got to be honest with you, Burton's the favorite. The rest is a toss-up.
It's a crapshoot.
It is. This is a wide-open district. Everybody can compete for playoff spots. The Snook Blue Jays have athletes. Milano's was on a downslide but drops back down to 2A Division II. Bartlett will finally get some consistency. Second year under Brian Cosma, the former offensive coordinator.
I think they were a young team. I remember
he really was.
I went to go to a couple of games, and then they took them on a couple on the chin. They didn't win a game this past year, but they do have young guys. They got some really valuable experience. And sometimes, hey, when you have young kids, you're going to have to go through growing pains and the tough losing, but that's going to make you stronger and make you better. And that's where, I guess a thing, only resemblance I could think of is Baylor whenever they went, they had one win and all that time, and look where they're at now. So Bartlett, you have a lot of hope.
The other thing to consider when you talk about Bartlett is that for a couple of years, Bartlett was running a different system every week-ish. Now they're going into year 2 in a modified slot T. Then, they're going to another year under that system, and they started to click. They were in a couple of ball games. They were in that district with Bremond. Iola was pretty decent as well.
Yeah, Granger went 9-4.
This sets up beautifully for the Bulldogs to do it. Who also, for what it's worth, this is more so just a storyline than anything that's going to determine anything of any concrete. Bartlett also is 6-man eligible, has the numbers. They're 1A in everything that's not football, but play 11-man football. Who are they paired with? Keep in mind, okay, when we say this, Milano, just north of College Station, Burton, south of College Station, Snook, a little closer to College Station, Iola, over near College Station. District 14, Cristoval, El Dorado, Junction, Miles, Menard, Rock Springs. That, my friends, is in the San Angelo area.
Does that make sense? To me it doesn't, but hey.
Who knows? So that's who they're paired with in the first round. Junction drops from 2A Division I. They've played Holland the last 2 years in the first round. Miles, Menard. My grandparents actually used to live in Miles when my grandfather was stationed at Goodfellow Air Force Base out in San Angelo. The favorite remains, that's Falls City. Falls City's won this region 2 years in a row. Falls City's lost to Mart in the semifinals 2 years in a row. They're still there. Districts wide open. Outside of Burton as a favorite in District 13, and Falls City as a favorite in District 16, there is not a clear-cut favorite in either 14 or 15, and there's no clear-cut favorites to take the remaining playoff spots and fill the playoff spot and force play-in games in any district in this region. So districts wide open. Miles and miles to go from College Station to San Angelo down to Kingsville and Victoria, because you look at District 16, Agua Dulce, down near Kingsville, Falls City, a little bit south of Poth, near where I grew up, Luis, out toward Victoria just a little bit, Pettis, down near Corpus, Woodsboro, Yorktown, which is over near Stockdale, and then Runge down a little bit closer to Corpus. Lots of
It's a lot of travel.
And then don't forget, notable teams, again, Falls City, El Dorado, and Sabinal, out near Uvalde, out past Hondo. This is an interesting district in 2A Division II, Region 4.
The theme has been a lot of travel. A lot of coaches that are, again, we've talked about, they're not happy, not only about the district, but just about the travel. And again, you see just it's all over the place.
To be fair, all of Bartlett's is going to be in the playoffs should they get there. Now, Bartlett is going to play Ranger, which is a 2A Division II school as well. Ranger is in District 8. They're going to play Ranger, and that one's going to be in Lampasas in the non-district schedule, and they're going to play Luis in the non-district schedule, but that one's going to be in Pflugerville. So the travel, that's during the playoffs right now. You can solve that with the neutral site game, and that's inevitable in a sense. So that's 2A Division II. Let's take a quick look. No questions on Facebook, nothing on Twitter, no text messages.
Something 254-859-5481.
Real quick, six-man highlights. A couple area Division I districts completely remain unchanged. That's Abbott and Jonesboro. The only real change for Abbott is it goes from 10 to 12. Everything else stays the same. For those two, Jonesboro, the exact same 4 teams, the exact same district number. The reason that matters is it changes who you're paired with in the first round of the playoffs. Other than that, it's pretty much nothing. Bynum jumps from Division II to Division I into reigning champ Blum's district. That would be, I believe, District 11.
I think you might be right. Let me see.
Yes, District 11. Yeah. Division 2, Cranfill's Gap now has Iredell, Cobb Pearl, Morgan, Walnut Springs. Dime Box jumps into the UIL ranks. You heard about that during the Sean Giggy series. We've shown you on weird town names. Dime Box is in with Old Buckholtz, the Badgers. Mount Calm is now in Region 4. Mount Calm, Hill County is now in Region 4. Don't worry, Region 4 is not nearly as far south as it is in the 11-man ranks. Oglesby out near Gatesville in there as well. I still like how it sets up for Jonesboro.
Yeah, it's a good thing that a good district, good region. And again, they're paired up to have a really good season. Bynum's jumping here to Blum's district. That's going to be a nice little test. Blum, of course, they had an amazing season, but again, Class A. I mean, you never know. You never know. But Abbott and Jonesboro went to they went to state. A couple of years. What was it?
2016 and 2017. Yep. 2018 lost to the Cinderella Lakey in the first round. Then this past year lost to eventual state champion Blum in the semifinals. They bring they bring a lot of guys back. And I was talking to Coach Gallegos today. He says that they are pretty excited about that district. Let's give one final check. Questions, comments, answers, concerns. I do have one DM from a coach I need to get to once we're off. Let's see. Nothing that I can see. Anything on your end?
Let me see here.
So to the coach who DM'd me, if you are still watching, I will respond the second we are off of this show.
No, I don't have anything. But again, to just another crazy year. It's every 2 years. Of course, this will change. In a few years, but it should be some really good football, and we'll see a lot of the Metroplex. And you're going to see a lot of great talent. Some of these kids are, going to be signing big-time Division I scholarships. Some of the best athletes in the nation. So yeah, maybe travel might be a little far, but you will see. I mean, you're going to see these guys not only in college, but possibly some of these guys will go pro.
Yeah,
that's how loaded the state of Texas and the Metroplex is.
And one of the things I told our assistant news director, whose kids go to Midway as well, in fact, his daughter will be a freshman at Midway next year. I might pay the price of admission to go watch that district track meet. That district fascinates me. Athletes everywhere you look. He's Nick Canizales. I'm Curtis Quillen. We really appreciate you joining us. If you do have any other questions about what happened in realignment, any comments, anything you want to voice with us, you can reach out to us. Send us an email. It's probably the easiest way. That email address is sports@kcentv.com.
And also, if you just want to check out the districts and who's going where, go to kcntv.com. Curtis put all that stuff together this morning. He's got it broken down, and yeah, of course, a lot of people have questions on why this team went this way, but I mean, it happens. And even the coaches, they have told us many times today. They said, well, we thought that something was going to happen maybe here, or we thought this, but you never know until you get this packet right here and see, well, okay, we were kind of wrong, or maybe you were talking about the snapshot a few months ago, and you kind of got an idea of teams that might have been dropping down or going up, but again, you just never know. Whenever this happens this morning, it's now in cement for a couple of years.
And there are a couple of steps. One, the one last note: teams that don't feel that this is a feasible or safe situation for the students at their schools can appeal their alignment. Corpus Christi, Calallen, and Alice are among schools who recently did it very successfully and got taken out of a district with Uvalde and Floresville and schools like that. Yeah, that's some traveling right there. So this does happen rarely. I have heard rumors of one school that is considering it, but nothing's official. Deadline on that is in a couple of weeks.
You said what, Valentine's Day, I believe?
Valentine's Day is the deadline to file the appeal. Then they would have to go to a hearing in Austin before anything is decided. They can also opt up to a larger division, so we'll
see how they go.
We'll wait and see what happens, but as far as we know, this is going to be concrete, and this is an interesting one. A lot of questions around this alignment, but we're trying to do the best we can to answer those. So again, sports@kcentv.com, and we will answer everything to the best of our abilities.
And we'll have much more coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. We will chat with 3 coaches about their districts, and hey, it's about to be go time. And spring is around the corner, and then before you know it, 2 days is going to kick off in August.
And one more time, if you missed any of this or you want to go back over and take a closer look at it yourself, that website is kcentv.com. All of this is on there. Again, Nick Canizales, Curtis Quillen, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. He will see you at 10 o'clock tonight. Have a great night.